Hello, everyone. I welcome you to this live weekly webinar. A very happy new year to all the viewers, whether you are watching us live or whether you are watching the recording. Uh, Please let us know that you are here and a very warm welcome to you in 2025. This is our first webinar for 2025, and I welcome you in this webinar. We have resumed the series after the Christmas break and the holiday break, and today we will be talking about a very interesting topic which is close to every property buyer. So when it comes to buying property, everyone is always thinking about their cash flow and how they can protect their cash flow in this high interest rate environment and even high cost of living environment where prices of everything is going up and it's not easy to buy a property and maintain it within your budget. Well, that's what a lot of people think, and what I've thought was I will bring down our very secretive spreadsheet. Well, not really secretive. I have discussed about it before as well, but I just thought to just cover the cash flow side of things as to how you can work out your own cash flow and get ready before you want to buy your next property asset. So this is Adil Rizvi, and before we jump into today's webinar, I welcome you once again. And if you're joining us live, or if you're watching a recording, please leave us a hello, drop us a comment, say hi, let us know you are here, and let us know what you think, what your thoughts are, what your feedback is. If you have any questions, please post them here because these live webinars are supposed to answer your questions. That is exactly why they are here, why we are here as well. And if you have any particular topics that you want us to cover moving forward, please let us know in the comments. We want to hear from you. We want to know what topics you want to hear. We want to hear what are the gaps you are having in your property buying journey, or if you want to know about certain markets or anything really related to property buying, whether it's your own home that you're looking to buy. You may have some questions around that or questions around property investing. Doesn't really matter. You can shoot them to us in the comment section. So without any further delay, we will jump into today's session as to how you can plan your cash flow effectively. I'll go through really fast because I have a lot of things to cover today, and I hope we do bring some value for you today. So what I'll do is I'll start sharing the spreadsheet that I have over here. So just give me a sec. So I'll just, yep. So here is our slides for today. Oh, it went back. So let me do it again. Sorry. Yep, it works now. Beautiful. So if you have to discuss your personal situation, guys, you can scan the QR code right in front and make sure you book in a call with myself directly. Sorry, I did not silent my phone. That is a problem I usually have. Anyways, so if you want to book your a session directly with myself where you want to talk about your personal situation, your property strategy, your personalized scenario, and you don't want to discuss it in public, feel free to book in a session. The QR code is right here. That is where you can come and book in a call directly with myself. And without further delay, just a quick disclaimer. So all the financial disclaimer that we always have, any information that we talk about in today's webinar is purely generic in nature. We are not providing any financial, legal, or tax advice. And also, if you want to act on any information that we discussed today, make sure that you seek your independent professional advice before taking any action. The information we present today may or may not be applicable to your personal scenario. So after that disclaimer, we will jump right into it, guys. And well, now there were some images which we can't see over here, but I tried to put images of 3 ducks actually. That's for some reason they're not here. So they talk about getting your ducks in a row, and that's what you need to be doing as a property investor. So the 3 ducks that really should be in a row for you are, first of all, your cash flow, your goals and strategy, and also how you execute it. So that's what we will be talking about today. And why cash flow is important? Because cash flow can be further broken down into different parts. Of course, you have upfront cost. If you're looking to buy even your family home, or if you're looking to buy an investment property, you will have some upfront cost like your deposit, whether you're paying 5%, 10%, 20%. Then you will have your, at the same time, you will have your, just going back, sorry. At the same time, you will have your stamp duties, your LMI if you're going for less than 20% deposit, your building and pest inspection fee, your buyer's agent fee. All those kind of things actually get lumped into your cleaning fees, your solicitor and lawyer's fee. All those things get lumped into, which is your upfront cost. And a lot of people know about it. A lot of people are clear about it. Where a lot of people get confused or they don't have an idea of what's going to happen in future is their ongoing cash flow. Once they've bought a property, how will the council rates impact? How will an unexpected maintenance impact their cash flow? So these are the questions they have in their mind, and we are addressing those questions today, right? So I will share my spreadsheet as to how we help you manage your cash flow. And if you want a copy of that spreadsheet, more than happy to share it with you. Leave us a comment, whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn. Please leave us a comment. Let us know that you want a copy of that spreadsheet. So just put spreadsheet in the comment section, and we will shoot that spreadsheet to you as a complimentary gift. And in addition to ongoing cash flow, the other important thing is, if you're looking to, let's say, build a property portfolio, that's where your future purchases can get impacted by your current purchase. What I mean by that is, if you buy a property which is highly negatively geared, and I will show you in a minute as well, if you buy a highly negatively geared property where because of high interest payments, because of high mortgage, you are paying like $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 every single month extra from your pocket, that is true for your owner occupier home as well as for investment property. So if you're really negatively geared in your cash flow, that is where your future purchases get affected, because the banks will not lend you any more money and your serviceability is really impacted. So that's why your cash flow of current purchase or current asset will impact your future serviceability or your future purchasing capability, which is extremely important to note. So that's why your current cash flow is absolutely important. So without further delay, I will now share very quickly with you the spreadsheet that we use with our clients, and you may or may not use it, but that will give you a good idea of how you can, what kind of expenses you can actually expect. So let me share my screen now. And if you have any questions, please feel free to post them. I would love to take the questions during the call or even after, towards the end of the call as well. So okay, so there we go. Beautiful. Okay, I'm having some technology issues today, so I'll try to add this back. Just bear with me for a sec, please. So I'll share my screen again, and after I share this time around, what I'll do is I'll probably not play around with it. So I'll not make any changes now, and let's start deep diving into it. So once you have to buy any particular property, of course, you have to consider your upfront costs. So what we do in terms of managing upfront costs and what I can recommend you, again, this spreadsheet is specifically made for investor buyers and for investor clients that we work with, but 90% of the things also apply to you if you're looking to buy your own family home to live in. So it doesn't really matter whether it's an investment property or your own home, this spreadsheet still applies to you, right? So the first thing is the purchase price. Let's say an investor wants to buy a property worth 600K. They want to pay some LMI. The deposit comes down to, now in this case, we have assumed 12% of deposit, and the 88% is the loan that actually gets paid by the lender. So based on 12% of deposit, they will be having a deposit of around $72,000 for a 600K purchase. Apart from that deposit, the remaining loan amount will be 528. So this is just a difference between purchase price and the deposit. And then they will be also paying roughly a lender's mortgage insurance of around $13,000, $14,000. Again, these are all approximate numbers when it comes to LMI and stamp duty. They'll be paying stamp duty. I've gone with 21 grand. They may be paying a bit less depending on the state that you are buying in. Victoria and South Australia are really expensive in terms of stamp duties. WA and Queensland and New South Wales are kind of comparable, and they're a bit lenient in terms of stamp duty that they charge. Then you will have some legal fees to pay to your conveyancers or your solicitors. You will have some these are all upfront fees, right? So you're paying this all upfront and you need to budget for that. Then you will do some electrical plumbing checks. You will have a building and pest fee if you can follow my mouse. So all these fees are included here. If you are typically using some buyer's agent, potentially they can be charging maybe around 15 grand, 16 grand, 17 grand, even 20 grand in some cases or higher. So we have put just 15 grand here for calculation purposes, and there can be registration and transfer fee as well. So for a 600K purchase, going back to the example, that's our scenario. We are looking at a 600K purchase scenario. Your upfront cost comes down to around $128,000, right? This is easy to calculate. Everyone kind of understands it, right? Now, if this was an investment buy, there will be a certain kind of property management fee as well. So we have assumed 7.7%. Again, this can vary from 5% up to 9% or even 10%. In New South Wales or in metro cities of Sydney and Melbourne, you can get property management done for around 5%. For some of the regional locations like Queensland, regional WA, where we are buying it as well at this point of time, regional Queensland, these fees actually can go up to 8, 9, even 10% in some cases. So we have gone with 7.7%, and the interest rate we have assumed for today's calculation is 6.5%. So these two numbers should be taken care of. Now I'm going into the most interesting part of today's webinar. I'm conscious of the time as well. And that part is the ongoing, why do we really want to get into property, right? Why are we getting into it? And what are our ongoing costs looking like? So this is the spreadsheet we would typically use, and I would actually, hopefully it is now a bit readable. So, okay, now some of the costs that will impact you continuously moving forward are your fixed costs, like your council rates. Now, if you're buying in Victoria, if you're buying in New South Wales, your council rates can start from around $1,500-$1,600 a year, right? And if you're buying all in Queensland, in some of the regional locations, your council rates can go up to $4 grand, $4.5 grand. Variation can be from $1,600 all the way up to $4 grand, even up to $4.5 grand in some cases that I've seen for our clients. So I've put 2,800 over here, which is just like an average, but you can put based on the state you're buying. Building insurance and landlord insurance is something. If you're buying your own family home, you only need a building insurance. But if you're buying an investment property, you need a landlord insurance as well, where you are covered for any rental gaps. If the property is vacant, you get paid by the insurer for that. Again, in Sydney, Melbourne, pretty much in Adelaide, even in Metro Perth, this costs around $2,000, $2.5 grand, maybe $3,000 in some cases. If you go in some regional areas, like regional Queensland, regional WA, these costs can actually go up, and you may be paying for up to around $3.5, $4 grand, even a little bit more than that for your council rates. So you need to be careful of that. Property management fee, we have that cost is already here as well, based on the 7% of our property management percentage. We have calculated that. We have also allowed for interest repayments. So of course, at 6.5% of interest rate, we'll be paying mortgage, and that is here $35,000 amount, if you can see on the screen, right? So this is here. I've actually clicked onto it. If you can see my mouse, it's $35,000 roughly. Then we will also assume that if you're buying an investment asset, because we have done this spreadsheet for investment buy, assuming investment purchase, then you will have, if there's a pool, you will have a pool maintenance fee cost of around $1,200 a year, maybe around $1,500 as well as maximum. Then you will have advertising fee with the property manager. You will have initial leasing fee. You probably will have a vacancy as well. So we have assumed 2 weeks of vacancy for your property. Let's say in a 52 week that you have in the year, 52 weeks. Out of those 52 weeks, if your property remains vacant for 2 weeks every single year, we have accounted for that as a cost as well to you. So accounting for all of that, regular maintenance as well, that's very important to note. So if you're buying an established property or any kind of property, even if it's brand new, it will have some kind of ongoing maintenance, right? It will have probably a dishwasher breaking down. It will have probably a skirting board coming off. It will probably require a bit of touch, a bit of hot water system repair, a bit of a dishwasher replacement, things like that. So we have allowed for $2,000 every single year for those kind of maintenance, depending on how old of a property you are buying. If you're buying a really very old property, probably the $2,000 needs to be around $3,000 or $4,000, just so that you have that peace of mind that you have that money sitting in your kitty, right? If you're buying a property under your self-managed super fund, then that is where you need to have probably roughly around $4,500 as an ongoing super fund maintenance fee. That also adds to your cost. So you have all these costs coming in through. In this case, there was no self-managed super fund purchase, so I will put it back to zero. We have assumed a rental yield of 5.5%, which is what we are achieving for our clients, which means if the property price was around 600K, then 5.5% rental yield means that the property will be fetching around $635 in rental income every single week. So for a 600K property, $635 rental income every single week. That's the income. And then if you see, now we have to see what are we paying from our pocket, right? So whether we are negatively geared or positively geared. Again, in this environment with 6.5% interest rate, we will be negatively geared. If someone says you will be positively geared on a normal residential purchase, they're bluffing you. They're not telling you the truth. So once we account for all the expenses for the year, which is around 47 grand, our total income for the year at 5.5% rental yield or $635 a week, we are making around $33,000 rental income on a weekly basis. And if we account for that, so our income is $33,000, our expense is $47,000. So we are negative cash flow by 14 grand roughly. Now, I want you to stop over here and consider we have allowed for all the possible expenses, we have allowed for all the ongoing cost, and essentially we have to pay around $14,000 from our pocket, including the property manager fee, including the council rates, including the insurances, including the unexpected maintenance that can come at any point of time, including the property remains vacant for 2 or even 3 weeks. We have allowed for $14,000, and we know this is our negatively geared cash flow scenario. Now, if you look at on a weekly basis, this is around $280 a week. Now, you may be asking a question to yourself, and that is very logical. Why should I be paying $280 a week every single week from my pocket to hold on to a property when the cost of living is already so high? And the answer to that question falls in the next table. So in the next table, the only reason you get into property investing, if you are doing investments, is because of capital growth. That is the biggest reason. That's the key reason where you make money in property investing. You don't make money through rental income. Rental income is only the money that will allow you to keep holding on to the property. The real wealth gets created through capital growth, right? And you are doing investments primarily, most of you should be doing it for capital growth reasons. So what we have done is we have done some equity forecast for you, which we do for our clients as well. And what that actually means is, let's say you bought a property for 600K today in 2025, and now you want to see how that performs. Now, I'll show a table to you which will actually make it really clear as to where I've got these numbers from. But essentially speaking, for our clients, we are achieving 9, 10, 11, 12% growth every single year. That is what we are doing by placing them in high growth locations every single time. And these locations are across the country. Now, I've done very, very conservative numbers here for the sake of calculation. So for the calculation purpose, I'm saying we are only looking at 9% growth for the first year, and then 9% growth in the following year, and then another 9% growth after that. So the first 3 years, I've only assumed 9% growth every single year, even though our clients are making much more than that. And I will share one example with you just after this table, where we will share the deal of the year 2024 actually. So let's say for a 600K purchase, your property value after 3 years would be around $770,000. In 5 years time, it will be probably around $890,000. If you can see my mouse over here, right? So the reason you are getting into property investment is because you want to make money through capital growth. And that is where your 600K asset grows to $890,000 or $895,000 in 5 years. Now, in those 5 years, of course, you will be negatively geared. You will be paying money from your pocket, which is before tax, by the way. All this money you're paying from your pocket is before tax in red color. So first year, you may be paying $14,000, which we discussed a little while ago. Then in second year, your outgoing actually goes down. And the reason your outgoing is going down in this table is because your rental income is going up. And your rental income is forecasted right over here. So we have allowed for 4% rental growth every single year. So even though first year your rental income was around 635 a week, but every passing year your rental income is going up, and that always happens if you buy in the right location where the demand is high, where people want to rent, where people want to raise their families. That is the income you can easily expect, but you have to make sure you're buying in the right location. That's the key, because if you don't buy in the right location, these rents may not increase for the next 4 or 5 years as well. So that's absolutely critical, right? So because your rental income continues to go up every single year, your outgoing from the pocket continues to go down. And from $14,000 in the first year, you may be looking at around $7,000 outgoing from your pocket. So in your mind, if you have been thinking that buying property or getting into investments is a bad idea because I can't manage my cash flow, I'm giving you a real life scenario over here where you can get into property investing if you want to, or even you can buy your own family home and adjust the spreadsheet accordingly, and you will know what your worst case position is, which is around $15,000 on an annual basis for a 600K purchase, and assuming a 6.5% interest rate. Now, this is where it becomes really interesting. If I just change this interest rate, and that's what RBI has been telling as well, these interest rates will start coming down very soon. This may happen in 1 month, it may happen in 3 months, and that's what most of the people are doing. They are just waiting on the side, just waiting for RBI to drop the rates, and they're saying, oh, once the RBI drops the rate, then we will jump into property market. That's the exact mistake which a lot of people are doing, because as soon as that happens, let's say the interest rates are 5.5% in 12 months from now, right? The cash flow suddenly drops. So you were paying $14,000 every single year. That goes down to $8,000 on an ongoing basis. That really drops down from 14 and 13 and 11 grand every year. It actually drops to 7 grand, 6 grand, and 4 grand every year. So a lot of people are doing this mistake where they are waiting for the RBI to pull the trigger. And as soon as the RBI pulls the trigger, whether it happens in February or in March or in April, no one can predict that. But as soon as that happens, guess what will happen? A lot of people will jump in the market, driving the prices up, because suddenly when a lot of people come into the market, competition goes up. As soon as the competition goes up, the demand goes up. The rising demand means the prices keep rising. So if you are the one who has been waiting up until now not to get into property market just because you want your cash flow to be better, I have given you your worst case scenario. So if you can work with a 6.5% interest rate, then this is your cash flow situation. You probably will have to fork out 14 grand for the first year, but essentially your property will give you growth of around $50,000 or $60,000 in the first year. So the only reason you will get into property buying at this stage is because you want to make this growth of 54 or even 60 or even 70 grand, depending on your budget. But to make that growth, essentially you're only paying anywhere from $13,000 to $14,000 from your pocket. And that is also before tax. If we consider after tax scenario, let's say 30% tax back because you're negatively geared, then that cash flow even goes down further. Instead of 14 grand, it's only 10 grand, $235. I have covered a lot of stuff today, guys. And just to give you a perspective as to how you can work your own cash flow, if you need access to this spreadsheet, please leave us a comment in wherever you're watching, whether it's YouTube, LinkedIn, or on Facebook. Leave us a comment spreadsheet, and I will be more than happy to share this test case spreadsheet with you. And before, without any further delay, if you have any questions, please leave us the questions as well. And I just want to share the most important thing with you, which is the deal of the week. And this deal of the week essentially is the purchase that we did last year, and it was done in January 2024. So this was for a client who has still not bought their first family home. They live in Sydney. They couldn't buy their family home because they're always chasing the rising property market. They're saving their deposit, but they're just not able to meet the target price because the prices in Sydney rise very quickly. So we suggested to them that instead of trying to save money every single week from your salary, why don't you use that saving, invest it wisely, and make sure that your investment or your deposit actually grows faster. So they listened to us. They put down around 120 grand from their pocket as a deposit, which included their initial deposit, their stamp duty. It also included our fee as buyer's agents. And we helped them buy this particular asset in Perth at the time. In January 2024, last year, we bought this property for $545,000. This is like a 7-year-old property built in 2016, 2017. It had solar panels on it, really well looked after, 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom house on a 400 square meter block in a well located suburb, highly desirable suburb. This is actually renting for 600 a week. So 545K purchase, renting for 600 a week, that's like 5.6% rental yield. Something similar to the example we discussed today in our cash flow spreadsheet. Fast forward 12 months, this property has already made $640,000. That's where it is sitting right now. So if they want to sell it today, it will easily sell for 635 and 640. And if you notice, this is actually the chat that I had with them earlier today, and I shared this evaluation from CoreLogic that this is valued at 635 today. Even if they want to sell it, this will probably go for 650 or even higher, because this is a bit conservative estimate. And they were pretty sure. I mean, you can see their message and they're pretty happy about it, because essentially the initial deposit of 120 grand is 100K plus, because that 120 grand plus 90 grand is around 200K. So they have already made 90 grand through this purchase in the last 12 months, which is like 16.5% growth. So yes, that is the growth we are getting for our clients. 13, 14, 15, 16% is quite the average that we are getting. But for the cash flow purposes, the growth I used was only 9%. So just to give you an idea that the growth can be achieved, the cash flow can be achieved. It's just about making the right decision at the right time. So I hope that adds some value to that brings some value. If you have any questions, please, if you're watching a recording later on, feel free to shoot your questions. More than happy to take them. If you like this, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Right over there, there's a bell icon. Subscribe to it. We will keep bringing these webinars every single week on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Sydney time. Until next week, take care, and I will see you next week again, same time, 8 p.m. Sydney time on a Tuesday. Until then, take care. If you have any questions for me, feel free to reach out. Thank you so very much.